There's a particular kind of silence that comes after a wire transfer for $9 million hits your account. Not relief, not joy, just silence. The sound of a question you don't have an answer to yet. Now what? Marcus Webb heard that silence on a Tuesday morning in March. He was 41 years old, sitting in a lawyer's office in downtown Austin, watching a number scroll across a screen that represented 11 years of his life. A software company built from a garage sold to a private equity firm that wanted his customer base more than they wanted him. The deal closed. The handshakes happened, and then everyone left the room, and Marcus sat there alone with $9 million and no idea who he was supposed to be now. For 11 years, Marcus had been the founder. That word had structured every hour of his life. The 6 a.m. emails, the investor calls, the late nights debugging code with his co-founder while their wives slept at home, wondering if the marriage would survive the company. The company had been the hardest, most consuming relationship of his adult life, and now it belonged to someone else. He told himself he'd take a year off, decompress, figure out what came next. He bought a house in Aspen, cash $4.2 million, because the version of himself in his head, the successful one, the one people would respect, lived in a house like that. He bought a Bronco, then a Porsche, then a boat he used twice. Not because he loved boats, because he didn't know what else to do with the hours. The thing nobody tells you about sudden money is that it doesn't fill the hole. It just echoes in it louder. Marcus started angel investing. 50,000 here, 100,000 there, into startups run by founders who reminded him of himself a decade earlier. He wasn't doing diligence, he was chasing a feeling, the adrenaline of building something, borrowed secondhand from other people's companies. 11 investments in 18 months. 9 of them would eventually go to zero. His financial advisor, a man named Greg, who he'd hired mostly because Greg had handled his lawyer's money, kept suggesting he diversify. Index funds, municipal bonds, things that sounded boring to a man who had just sold a company for $9 million. Boring felt like dying. So Marcus kept saying not yet, kept chasing the next deal, the next high. 18 months in, he met Priya at a tech conference in Miami. She was magnetic, confident, raising a fund of her own. She made Marcus feel like the founder again, sharp, important, in the room where decisions happened. He invested $2 million into her fund. Not after due diligence, after dinner. The fund collapsed 11 months later. Mismanagement, some said. Outright fraud, said others, though nothing was ever proven in court. Marcus never saw a cent of that $2 million again. By the third year, the house in Aspen needed a new roof he didn't have liquid cash for. The boat sat unused, accruing marina fees. The angel investments that hadn't failed yet were illiquid, locked up, worth nothing he could spend. He sold the Porsche at a loss. Then he sold the Bronco. Then, quietly, without telling anyone from his old company, he listed the Aspen house. $9 million. 3 years. Gone. Marcus sits in a much smaller house now, outside Denver, working as a consultant for early-stage startups. The same kind of company he used to run, except now he's the cautionary tale they bring in to talk to founders before a sale. He tells them what nobody told him, that the hardest part of selling a company isn't negotiating the price. It's surviving the silence afterward, the identity collapse, the years where you don't know who you are without the thing that used to define you. He tells them something else too, that money doesn't multiply trust. It multiplies exposure. Every dollar he lost wasn't lost to bad luck. It was lost in the 18 months after the deal, when he was the most emotionally unprepared and the most financially powerful version of himself he would ever be. Marcus still has some money left, not $9 million. Enough. He says that's almost worse. Enough to remember exactly what he had and exactly how fast it disappeared when he stopped asking questions and started chasing a feeling instead. The wire transfer took 4 seconds. The unwinding took 3 years. And somewhere in Aspen, a house he no longer owns still has his name on a closing document. The only thing left to prove that for one Tuesday morning, Marcus Webb was worth $9 million.